Hi, I'm Katie Ziskind, a licensed marriage and family therapist. You can read more about me and my services at wisdomwithinct.com. This is my dog Blondie, and we're here to talk with you about trauma bonds and couples therapy. Trauma bonds are a really high conflict style of relating to each other. When you're stuck in a trauma bond, this is a mixture of trauma from your current romantic relationship as well as childhood trauma. So at first, in childhood, you may have had to be the caretaker, had to always be perfect, had a lot of emotional burdens put on you as a child. You may have had a parent that didn't tell you they loved you, or a parent that withheld love in some way. You may have had a parent that was emotionally immature and made you take care of them. You may have had a parent who was an alcoholic or used drugs or had other mental health issues, and they weren't able to give to you in the way you deserved. So we combine that with trauma from a romantic relationship, which equals a trauma bond. So in your romantic relationship, you may have been dating for 6 months or for 16 years, but what happens is people get into really high conflict, volatile, intense, challenging fights. You might have kind of a partner that pulls away from you and shuts down, and that triggers your fear of abandonment and feelings of wanting to be committed, but also wanting to protect yourself. You may also have gotten into really intense arguments where there's been yelling, high conflict arguments, name calling, belittling, criticism, and all of these are unhealthy negative communication methods. You're still getting some type of feedback, which is negative feedback, but it's unhealthy and it's always going to lead to more intense fights. So by working with me or another therapist on my team at Wisdom Within Counseling, who specializes with trauma bonds and complex PTSD, we can start to help you break the cycle. Kind of understand the pattern that you're in and then shift to a more positive way of relating. So by learning healthy communication skills, you can start to build more playfulness in your conversations. You can also learn about your partner's triggers and PTSD and trauma triggers from childhood. And they can learn about your triggers and fears and worries and needs. As well, in healing from your trauma bond and couples therapy, we can teach you how to express admiration, express fondness, express gratitude and appreciation, which are often a great way to diffuse defensiveness or criticism. As well, in trauma bond couples therapy, we help you gain an eagle eyes perspective. So rather than feeling sucked into the fight and helpless and feeling like you're never going to be good enough in your partner's eyes, we help you rise above and be like an eagle looking down at the dynamic, looking down at the interaction, and not be so reactive, and instead talk about your feelings from a place of self-confidence, share your emotions from a place of self-acceptance, and also learn how to self-soothe when your partner cannot be there for you or they are too triggered in their own childhood wounds. You are able to practice good self-care techniques such as yoga, meditation, going for a walk, doing some painting, journaling. And sometimes couples struggle with self-care, so they end up bringing two really wounded parts to a relationship, and that is not a good way to build a healthy marriage or healthy romantic life. So we help you start from self-love, practice really good intentional self-care so that you can bring the best version of yourself to your marriage, and so can your partner. That way, when things don't go the way you want, you can express your emotions in a calm and effective way. You can feel heard by your partner, and you can also know what to do next to communicate in a healthy way and build that meaningful relationship that you desire. So I would love to help you if you feel stuck in a high conflict fight or feel helpless after an argument. Start to shift into more meaningful connection, gain some positive communication strategies, and really start to connect on a deep, emotionally intimate level to build closeness and clarity in your marriage and in your relationship. So you can get started with me and my team by booking a free phone consult for trauma bond couples therapy with a holistic perspective at wisdomwithinct.com. That's wisdomwithinct.com. I'm Katie Ziskind, the owner of Wisdom Within Counseling, and I look forward to working with you and helping your marriage thrive.